OPETH. More like, oh dear. Well, that's what I'd be saying if I didn't like OPETH. An extremely unique, original band that have accomplished the very rare feat of staying relatively fresh and creative throughout the entirety of their whole career. They have refined the art of sounding like themselves without sounding like self-parody. They blend several styles of music that you would never ever think that would like mash together. Death metal, 70s, prog rock, like folk music. This is going to be a hell of a deep dive because the band has 13 albums. So we're going to the first album, Orchard. You got sort of like that triplety groove that's very OPETH-y. You've got like these harmonized octave things going on. It's so far away. I'm far away. I'm not really a fan of their first 3 albums. They're like really, really amateur and ropey. It's just like, doesn't really go anywhere. It's just kind of boring. Like nothing really happens. They just sort of like drop out and just start playing some random clean shit that has like nothing to do with what came before it. Some boomer bends. All right, okay, so that was Orchard. Now, the year after, we've got Morning Rise. So much sorrow, man. Ah! 7 minutes in, we get something. Wait for 7 minutes until something cool happens, yeah. I love prog, but only when it's done well. I just can't, man. This song is like a fucking slog. I can't deal with it. Literally nothing happened in that song. How long was it? Dude, that song was like 11 minutes and like literally nothing happened. It's just loads of shit like just stringed together. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's just like amateur prog. I mean, it's very dry, but it sounds cool. Always a bounce. Yeah, that's what I mean. That sort of like bouncy, like triplet groove. That's like the OPETH beat. Like so yes, we move on from Morning Rise to My Arms, Your Hers, album number 3. Wait, like this album sounds worse than Morning Rise. Sick riff though. The vocals are getting better as well with each album, aren't they? Like, it's starting to sound a lot more like the Michael Akerfeld. Wow, that's fucking beastly, man. Like, his growls are so fucking ridiculous. Cool, like 12 string action going on there. That sounds sick. Finally, a hook. This is like the first hook that has like happened in the first 3 albums. I think that's enough of these 3. I think those first 3 albums are just like really, really ropey, pretty amateur. Like a lot of these songs are just like overly long. You know, you have to justify that extended runtime, and these songs do not. They're just absolute dirges, in my opinion. We get to album number 4, Still Life. In my opinion, one of the most perfect metal albums. Creates very cool melodic sound, melancholic, you know, aesthetic and vibe and lyrics. Yeah, with this sort of like, you know, everything's like steeped in lots of reverb. You got this sort of like occult, mystic themes running throughout the album as well. Listen to how well that acoustic is recorded. It sounds like it's right there. Like, just when you think the song's getting going, it like fucking steps it up again. So that is Still Life. What a fucking jump from the first 3 albums to this. Absolutely phenomenal. And after that, it gets even better. Can you believe it? So, Blackwater Park. I used to be obsessed, completely obsessed with this song when I was a teenager. The difference sonically between that and Still Life is crazy. Like, this sounds so much more like polished and like modern, doesn't it? Dude, that fucking riff, man. I call it like the tiptoe riff. It's like really cheeky. It sounds like somebody like tiptoeing down the corridor. It's just such a perfectly phrased solo. Like every note is exactly where it needs to be. Then you got this gorgeous like harmonized melody thing. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep. I feel like this era is like when they were at their most gothy. Obviously, you got Harvest, which is like, you know, the single, the banger. Sort of like gothic country ballad. And you got Drapery Falls. Oh, it's an amazing melody. Yeah, it's such a beautiful, just like wash of noise with like the melodies like soaring over the top. It's like, oh, it's beautiful. Again, that's one of those albums I could just fucking listen to quite easily from front to back. Basically a perfect album. So fucking good. Very rarely does a band hit their stride and just carry on releasing the same quality music for years, or even better. But Opeth, what do? They deliver a bloody double album. So Damnation, of course, is an entirely clean, you know, ballady album. And Deliverance, it's mostly got sort of like heavier bangers on it, right? So, well, let's look at Deliverance first. Dude, like, this is one of the best moments in prog metal of all time. I could never figure this out. One of the most, like, mind-bending, syncopated things. It's so confusing. Like, no matter how many times I listen to that, it, like, fucks me up. This is one of like the rare moments in Opeth's discography where they're really like channeling just like a straight up through and through like death metal sound, right? Yeah, Deliverance. Cool album. Love to see them embracing more of like that straight up fucking mean death metal energy. So this is the album where they really embraced their tender, sorrowful side. This album is absolutely beautiful. It is so gorgeous. When I show an example of like the synth, yeah, like here. They're using like a sort of genuine like 70s, I guess it's a Mellotron or something probably, to get those really sort of like analog-y sounds. It sounds so fucking cool. And I should contemplate this change. So much fucking sorrow. Like the sorrow meter is like, off the fucking charts on this one. Right, then after that, we have Ghost Reveries. This for me is where their sound just fucking peaked. All the like the different influences and like a little like creative juices and essences. Everything just fucking came together perfectly on this album. Like the stars aligned. It's like a dark, dark album, right? Definitely has like a heavier overall sound. This album sounds very big. I think what I like about this album has a bit more sort of like variation in sounds. Like there's a lot of cool different things going on this album. I don't know how he does it. Like Michael, he can just comes up with just like these amazing, gorgeous melodies. Just like, oh, it's like without even fucking trying. Dude, that chord change, that is the most sorrowful chord change I've ever heard in my life. Next up, we have Watershed. Just when you think the band has like reached their peak, they've come out with this absolute classic. This intro. She told me why. You got this sort of like dueling vocals between Michael and I don't know some random woman, but it's super cool. Oh, this like chorus bit is so beautiful. And I can see. Oh, that acoustic bit is so good. This song is evil, dude. That's my favorite one. Beautiful album. Fucking love it. I would say it could have been a contender for like one of the best Opeth albums if like the last two songs were a bit stronger. So gone are the crushing metal guitars, evil riffs and blast beat and growls. And instead we have this. I think maybe a lot of people just treat it as like a separate band, as like, you know, later Opeth and early Opeth as like two different things. So I listened to all four of these albums in their entirety. I was completely bored to tears. There are some cool moments here and there in like all four albums, but for the most part, the songs are like so fucking boring, man. My favorite actually was this one. Play what? Nepenthe. I've not taken anywhere near enough drugs to be able to appreciate this right now. Where were we? Alright, Pale Communion was the next one. Cusp of Eternity. Now, this was a cool song. Nice. That's a great little hook. I don't even care that they went back to a more sort of like proggy, stripped down sound and ditched the growls. The main thing I care about is songwriting, and just like the songs are just mostly just really boring. Yeah, I listened to this early because I saw that it had like a lot of plays. I thought, oh, this must be cool. But it was just like... That's cool. Nice chord change. Like, a lot of these songs are just like Michael fucking jerking off. I just can't deal with it, man. All right, and after Pale Communion, we had Sorceress. It's interesting, like, they've embraced a more sort of like sort of psychedelia sort of sound on this one, right? More sort of like a stonery sound almost, right? Midlife crisis sound. I remember I played this one earlier too, because it had like 4 million views. Like, oh, okay, this must be a good one. Sorrow! I mean, this is just like a straight up like folk song, right? The last one, In Calda Venenum. I heard lots of good things about this album when it came out. Universal Truth. I'm sure I remember liking this one. Bringing back the sort of like the heavier production and the heavy guitar. Kind of cool. I like that song. It's alright. It's a lot more engaging than like the stuff off the past 3 albums for me anyway. Like, sounds like something off like Deliverance. It's pretty sick. But I believe now is the time for the main event. Dust off the old tier list and rank every single Opeth album. We're going to try and get something that's as comprehensive and as objective as we possibly can. So, let's start things from the top. Actually, no. We need to create some other rows. Of course, we need the bin. I think we have Maximum Sorrow for S tier. In the Maya. Oh, yeah, that's good. We're going to start with Orchids at number 1. A band that is trying to do things that they're not quite ready to do yet. You know, it doesn't really go anywhere. I don't think it's very good at all. It's going in the Maya, I'm afraid, guys. I'm sorry. We're moving up to a D. There's no way it's going higher than that. Okay, what's after that? Morning Rise. I think it's a D. I suppose it's marginally better than Orchids. My Arms Shall Hurt, I think, is actually a step up above those two. Yeah, like, this is definitely better. This is a C. Right, now things start to heat up a little bit. Still Life. Sometimes this is my favorite Opeth album of all time, depending on my mood. But I think this album is absolute perfection, Still Life. The songs are so well paced, steeped in amazing, moody atmosphere, super creepy. I love the cool, sort of like gothic-y concept. Would you guys object if I put Still Life in Maximum Sorrow? Blackwater Park, obviously an S tier album. One of the most classic metal albums of all time. Okay, then we have the double album, Damnation, Deliverance. So Deliverance first. I think it's a fantastic album, but I don't think it's as strong as these two. I think that Deliverance is like a strong 8. And what about Damnation? Yeah, I'm going to keep it just behind Still Life for now. Ghost Reveries, boys and girls. Straight to the fucking top, you know it. So beautiful. All right, what about Watershed? This will be a tricky one. Yeah, I think it goes in S tier. It's just at the bottom. So let's do this one first. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just stick it in D and in B. Just to make the tier look nice, right? Which is the best one out of these? I feel like maybe it's like Pale Communion, Heritage, just because it sounds so different. And this one I just don't really dig at all. Sorceress. I think it's just annoying to listen to. Okay, maybe we'll move Sorceress up then if you guys think that's better. The only trouble with this is I think having Deliverance and ICV so close to each other, because like Deliverance is still like fucking miles better than this one. Fuck it, I'm gonna stick it at the end. Right, well I think that's it. I'm gonna lock that in. That is our definitive Opeth tier list.
All right, mate. Do that. Do that. Do that. Nice one.